It's time for build number 3 of Sim Update number 2 beta. It will bump up the version to version 1.4.10.0. But first, let's roll the intro and then we're gonna look at the release notes of this latest build. So beta build 1.4.10.0. It's the third beta build for Sim Update number 2 already. Pretty interesting. There still are some fixes. Also some fixes are kind of, I would say, shady, I would say. So let's have a look at it. So first of all, the changes to the Career Challenge League multiplayer in the Sim Update number 2 beta. Keep in mind that they separated the leagues but also the leaderboards due to the fact that you now can play all the careers in Sim Update number 2 beta even if you're not eligible for it, and that's why they decide to separate them. Be careful with this because of course it won't count against your real progress, so maybe once you're switching back to the normal release you might lose some points, so be aware of that. Then the FAQ, not so many updates to be honest, but read it carefully. If you're not joined the beta and you're considering it, read the FAQ. Then the fixes. First of all, stability and then performance fixes. They fixed the crash inside the GPU drivers due to the off-by-1 error inside the texture loading code. This one is interesting and this was the shady one because this one was also called out in the previous release notes. It could be, of course, that they figured out some other things which caused this scenario, but there is, let's say, another update. So likely you won't face the issue anymore. Then the general bug fixes. There are 3 fixes over there, mainly GUI things, if I read it correctly. First of all, the issue with the laxy in-game UI data issues, where they were rendered invisible when they should be visible and using the wrong data. The second one, when there should be a notification of group invitations and friend invitations, which were excluded. And the third one was the login pop-up sometimes not appearing for new users. So likely only applicable to new users who are playing Flight Simulator 2024. Then the aircraft section also contains some interesting fixes. First of all, they improved the visuals on the Durston Dirt for the H125 helicopter, which makes it more realistic. And the Boeing 737 MAX 8 also received some updates. First of all, they adjusted the step climb logic on the CDU VNAV cruise page to more closely match the real world behavior, as well as they changed the background and text color of the radios and the MCP to match the real world look and feel. The last one is an issue which was fixed to verify the active nav frequencies in the radios when the aircraft loads are set to the correct nav mode, right? Either ILS or VOR. Then the Cessna 172 Skyhawk also received an update. They adjusted the tutorial lines position on and the default camera for the aircraft, so be aware of that. So changed also the default camera, I'm not sure why, but hey, they decided it. And the Cupcrafters X Cup, where they fixed an engine stopping at high altitudes issue, as well as they fixed the max RPM reached at full throttle for takeoff. So 2 fixes, not 1. These should be separate lines. Then continuing with the glass cockpits. First of all, the G1000 NXI, where they now changed the backlight session. First of all, the G1000 NXI, where they fixed the backlight settings, which are now set to auto at the start of the flight. That's the default option. Then the Garmin G3000 and 5000, they improved the performance when making large edits to the flight plan. That initially caused some delays, but they now fixed it, which works a little better, I would say. Then for the G3X Touch, they also improved the performance when making large edits to the internal flight plan when multiple GDUs are present in an airplane. I do think that those might be related to each other, but this one is a little bit different description, so it could also be different things. Continuing with the Primus EPIC 2.0 integrated avionics system, they fixed the PFD decluttering at 20 degrees pitch up and 30 degrees pitch down. It's now reversed this to the declutter at 30 degrees pitch up and 20 degrees pitch down. So they reverse them, as they say. Then for the ProLine 21 integrated avionics system, they improved the performance again when making large edits to the flight plan. So you can see some commonalities, likely due to the fact that they're using the same code. Then continuing with the EFB, which received a lot of new functionality. And if you thought that there was everything, no, there's more. So first of all, they moved the flight plan management buttons to the header and grouped them by action, right? Added the tooltips for every icon button. Then they adjusted the styling of the flight details page, so it's more consistent with other pages. And the facility search bar result items, the facility icon, the ICAO, and the facility name are aligned horizontally, right? That was not 100% aligned correctly. That's now being fixed. Then closing facility info pages will clear the facility search bar. That's also being added. And there are some other additions to it. First of all, the bounce verification to georeference charts to fix the issue where the aircraft icon was displayed in the wrong position. And the view reorganization from the hangar in career mode. Payload and view options are combined and displayed in one page. Besides that, they added the possibility to collapse a section when clicking on the section title in the route page. And they added a button to navigate to the mass and balance section in the aircraft page. So really nice. Besides that, they added the support for loading view and payload into the active aircraft. And this looks like that you can review also when flying, but that's just an assumption because what is an active aircraft, right? Then the last one, the payload and view sections now have a total view and total payload quick input setter. So that's also being changed. And keep an eye on my channel because we'll likely create a separate video from this because there are a lot of changes in this one. Then the aircraft and gameplay. First of all, the ATC, they improved the pronunciation of many phases, and also the pilot will now include the airport ident and traffic at the end of all appropriate CTAF communications. So there are some changes which are interesting. Continuing with the careers, also some fixes there. First of all, the general bug fixes. The first one, fix could not launch the aircraft missions after rotorcraft, free flight or world photographer. Interesting fix. And the second one for the mission specifically, they fixed the background reward screen for reward in legacy landing challenges. Legacy landing challenges are likely those who are, I would say, ported from Flight Simulator 2020. Then the world also received an update. Wrong texture directories being cached when generating scenery indexes. Wonder how they discovered this one. Can't imagine that someone has reported this one, but hey, let's see. Then the airport. They received also several fixes. First of all, the discontinuity when a terraforming polygon is split. Next one is the custom runway start not being used in the free flight mode, as well as the incorrect runway used for spawn when the assistant option ATC enforced flight plan is disabled, and another runway was selected as departure. This is a really specific case, but hey, you might have encountered it. Last one, they fixed the terraforming discontinuity at the end of the runways, which looks like a little bit the same, right? But they're different. Then the marketplace, yes, it also received an update. You're seeing it correctly. It is an issue which was caused where the price slider would snap back to its max value. So it's being fixed. And from accessibility perspective, there also are two things. One is a fix. First of all, they fixed the transcribed option handling both matching and non-matching languages when using the remote speech to text. And they added speech synthesis for STT translation in translate text chat option. So nice. Virtual reality, as we already expect, it received a lot of updates, but there's more to come. First of all, they added something, the cockpit interaction group toggle action to switch between interacting with one or all throttles. And there is also the action is binded by default to Alt plus the G on keyboards and the A trackpad down on the VR right controllers. They fixed the interaction in the VR for the collective of the helicopters by implementing a similar logic to the yokes, and currently only applied to the H125 and Cabri, but can be applied to third parties on their helicopters, right? So it looks like that these are the same, or these are applicable to this. And I would say those third-party helicopters, right, they can be fixed by defining the parameters in the config file and disabling the collective's model behavior interaction in VR. Last one is the fix the EFB panel scroll zoom input behaviors in VR mode. So also a lot of fixes for the VR mode again. Then we see the dev mode, which we will not go to. And looks like these are the full release notes for the third build of Flight Simulator 2024 sim update number 2, which brings up the version 2 version. What was it? 1.4.10.0. Here ends the video. Hope you liked it. If you liked it, then make sure to keep an eye on my channel because there's more to come. Thanks for watching and hope to see you back next time.